Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I am super excited you're here today. Look, if you're wanting to just completely demystify the somewhat complex, and yeah, definitely overwhelming world of credit, well, you're in the exact right place. Today we're going to strip away all the confusion and get right down to the foundational mechanics of how the credit system actually works. We're looking directly at the definitions of credit, credit history, credit reports, and the nationwide credit bureaus.
Okay, let's just dive right into our roadmap for today. We'll start with number 1, the history of borrowing. Move into 2, what exactly is credit? Then 3, your financial DNA. After that, we'll look at 4, inside the credit report, and wrap up with 5, the credit bureaus.
All right, Section 1, the history of borrowing.
It really is a fundamental question, isn't it? How does credit actually work? And, why do I even need a credit report anyway? For a lot of us, just hearing those questions sparks this sudden sense of dread. The whole system can kind of feel like this invisible machine, right? Just making judgments about you behind closed doors. But I want you to keep this question in the back of your mind as we go through this today, because honestly, the answer is way more straightforward than you might think.
To see just how far we've actually come, let's contrast things a bit. I mean, imagine this. Less than 100 years ago, banking was a highly personal, face-to-face deal. If you needed to borrow money, you literally had to walk down to the local credit union or bank and personally talk a loan officer into handing you the cash. You had to bring paper proof of employment, and get this, you often had to bring in personal references, like actual human beings to vouch for your character. The whole decision was completely subjective, based entirely on how that one specific loan officer felt about you on that particular day. Now contrast that with today. Today, we are dealing with a highly statistical, massive, data-driven system. It doesn't care about a personal reference. It only cares about the math and the data.
Moving right along to Section 2, what exactly is credit?
So the classic textbook definition here is pretty straightforward. Credit is the ability to buy things today using borrowed funds and pay back the purchase over time. Borrow today, pay back tomorrow. Simple enough. But I want us to look at credit through a slightly different and honestly, a much more empowering lens. Your credit is basically your reputation around how you handle money. That's it. It's not some kind of financial trap. It is simply a formal reputation. And if you build a solid one, it becomes an incredibly powerful tool. A tool that lets you finance major purchases that you just couldn't possibly pay for upfront in cold, hard cash. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. We're essentially anchoring this abstract idea of a financial reputation to very real, tangible milestones in your life. Because having strong credit, it's not just about getting another piece of plastic in your wallet. It's really the map that connects you to getting that first apartment, securing a mortgage for a house, buying a reliable car, or, and a lot of people forget this, even passing a background check for a brand new job. Your credit reputation is quite literally what paves the road to these major life goals. Now, as consumers, we generally build that reputation using a few different types of credit, which are cleanly separated for us here. First up, we've got revolving credit. This is where a lender basically says, hey, you can borrow up to this maximum limit. You can use some of it, you can use all of it, and you can carry that outstanding balance forward or revolve it from month to month, accumulating interest along the way. Credit cards are your classic example here. But check out that second point, service credit. A lot of people totally overlook this one. Every single time you sign a contract for your electricity, your cell phone service, or even a gym membership, that is a credit arrangement. You're receiving the service up front on the strict condition that you're going to pay for it every single month. So if credit is your reputation, how exactly is that reputation formally recorded?
Let's find out in Section 3, your financial DNA.
Think of your credit history as essentially your financial DNA, and it lives inside a document called a credit report. This thing is the master record. It's a highly detailed statement that compiles your entire bill-paying history, your current debt load, and even the inquiries made by lenders. Basically, whenever you apply for a new loan or service, this is the exact document that interested parties pull up. They want to see if you've been keeping your accounts in good standing over the years. Which brings us to Section 4, inside the credit report.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the strict division between what actually is and what is not in the report. Over on the left side, we see what's included, right? You've got your history of repaying debts, whether you were on time, late, or if you just missed payments entirely. It shows the credit accounts you've opened in the past and the total amount of debt you're carrying today. But take a look at the other side. What is explicitly not included? Your credit score. Yeah, It's a common misconception, but credit reports do not actually include that magic 3-digit number. Instead, credit reporting agencies take the raw data inside this report and use it to calculate your score later on. The report itself is purely that raw financial DNA. So, who exactly is compiling all of this raw data? Like, who are the official record keepers in all this?
That leads us to Section 5, the credit bureaus. So, the primary record keepers in the United States are the three national consumer credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And their entire business model? It's credit reporting. Now, you might be wondering, where do they even get all this info? Well, they compile data that is reported to them voluntarily by your creditors. We're talking banks, credit card issuers, auto finance companies, people like that. And importantly, they also pull from public records, which means things like property documents or court records. And here's a little pro tip. Because each bureau might pull from slightly different sources, the information in your Experian report might not perfectly match your Equifax or TransUnion report. It's totally normal.
So the really crucial point here is understanding why these bureaus do all this gathering in the first place. It all really boils down to the core predictive principle we have right here. Analyzing past client behavior allows for accurate prediction of future default risk. I mean, this right here is the statistical math behind the entire modern credit industry. Lenders are relying on the assumption that your historical patterns are incredibly strong indicators of exactly how you're going to behave in the future. Basically, if you paid consistently over the last 5 years, the statistical model confidently predicts you're going to pay consistently tomorrow. But what if you just don't have that past data? Check out this massive number, 50 million. Right now, an estimated 50 million Americans have little to absolutely no traditional credit history. And that completely locks them out of mainstream borrowing. It's a huge issue. So to solve this, the credit bureaus and the folks creating these scoring models are basically rushing to incorporate alternative data into their reports. They're starting to track regular, everyday monthly payment flows that used to just be completely ignored, things like your rent, childcare, utilities like gas and water, and even private mortgages. This shift is a massive, industry-wide attempt to help those 50 million people finally build a formal financial reputation.
All right, so we've covered the history, the underlying mechanics, the raw data, and the bureaus themselves, which really leaves us with just one final essential question. When was the last time you checked your free credit report? Remember, this is your financial reputation we're talking about. You are legally entitled to get a free copy of your credit reports every 12 months at annualcreditreport.com just to check them for errors. So the question is, are you taking control of your financial DNA? Are you just letting the data speak for you without double-checking the facts? Go find out exactly where you stand.